All right, let's do this one last time. Imagine you're Spider-Man, swinging through the skyscrapers of New York on a cold, rainy night, with countless thoughts racing through your mind beneath the mask. Suddenly, everything stops. A strange feeling of unease takes over, but you don't know what it is. Then, everything goes black. You realize your enemy has been standing there the whole time, and it's probably already too late. You can see him, but your body won't move. Your eyes slowly close, and your mind begins to fade away. You can't see anything anymore. All you can hear is loud laughter echoing in the darkness, and the strong smell of gunpowder filling the air. Then everything slowly fades away. That is how one of Spider-Man's most famous canon events begins, a story that no Marvel fan should ever miss. It even appeared briefly in Spider-Verse, but in Spider-Gwen Stacy's universe, it's dark and at the same time, strangely beautiful. This is the story of Kraven's last hunt.
Ambushed by Kraven the Hunter in the darkness, Peter Parker falls into a deep coma after being injected with the poison of a rare herbal toxin. He isn't dead, but his heartbeat becomes so slow that he appears to be. Kraven knows Spider-Man is still alive, but he has no interest in killing him. Instead, he takes Peter to a cemetery and buries him underground. Above the grave, he places a tombstone that reads, "Here lies Spider-Man, slain by the Hunter." Despite his obsession with defeating Spider-Man, Kraven still respects him. He never removes Peter's mask. Instead, he decides to make his own Spider-Man suit and become Spider-Man himself. But wait, what does all of this mean? Has he completely lost his mind? To understand why he did this, we need to look at Kraven's past. He was a Russian nobleman who traveled across Africa in search of restoring his family's lost honor. He defeated tigers, lions, and hunted countless dangerous wild animals that ordinary people would never dare approach. But none of it satisfied him, because after all those years, there was only one opponent he could never defeat: Spider-Man. Spider-Man haunted his mind like a nightmare, surrounded by venomous spiders that constantly reminded him of his greatest failure, and that failure wounded his pride. One day, he asked himself, if he couldn't defeat the spider, then could he become the spider? That single question explains everything he did to Peter. Kraven truly believed he could become Spider-Man and do the job far better than Peter ever had. To him, that would be the ultimate victory.
Kraven puts on the black Spider-Man suit and swings from rooftop to rooftop through the rainy night. He punishes every criminal he encounters, but with the ruthless instincts of a hunter rather than the heart of a hero. Every punch is savage. Every attack is merciless. His brutality is so horrifying that even a woman standing nearby begs him to spare the criminal. One of the criminals even dies shortly after being taken to the police station. The newspapers immediately declare that Spider-Man is a murderer, and little by little, Spider-Man's image begins to collapse in the hearts of the people of New York. Mary Jane reads the news and instantly realizes that the man wearing the black Spider-Man suit isn't Peter. But she can't tell anyone the truth, because doing so would reveal to the entire world that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. All she can do is sit alone in an empty room, quietly worrying about the man she loves.
Kraven isn't finished yet. He sets one final challenge for himself. He decides to hunt Vermin, the half-man, half-rat creature living beneath New York City sewers. Vermin had already carried out a series of brutal attacks, and even Spider-Man and Captain America had never been able to capture him. Deep inside the filthy, pitch-black sewer, Kraven suddenly grabs Vermin by the throat and throws him across the tunnel. The two immediately clash, but Vermin is no match for Kraven. Kraven defeats him with nothing but his bare hands. No weapons, no traps, no assistance. He beats Vermin relentlessly and forces him underwater until Vermin finally collapses, unable to move another inch. Kraven drags him back to the surface and proudly declares to the darkness that he has surpassed Spider-Man, accomplishing what Spider-Man never could. Vermin is then locked inside Kraven's mansion like a trophy from an unfair hunt.
As for Peter Parker, he remains buried beneath the cold cemetery. After 2 weeks, he slowly regains consciousness, but everything around him is completely dark. There is no light, no sound, only the crushing pressure and suffocating weight pressing down on his body. He realizes he's trapped inside a cramped coffin. Panic slowly takes over his mind. He pounds on the coffin over and over, desperately trying to escape. But every punch only causes more dirt to pour down on him. Breathing becomes harder and harder, and his mind begins to drift. In his fading consciousness, he relives every terrible tragedy that has happened since the radioactive spider gave him his powers. Uncle Ben died. Gwen Stacy died. Ned Leeds died. And now, what will happen to Mary Jane? His love for Mary Jane gives him the strength to fight one more time. He is no longer afraid of being Peter Parker, a man who can suffer, who can die, but who can always stand back up again. Kraven may have buried the name of Spider-Man, but he can never bury the heart of Peter Parker. Peter keeps smashing the coffin with everything he has. Tons of dirt crash down onto him. He can barely breathe, but he refuses to stop. Inch by inch, he claws his way toward the surface, until at last, he bursts out of the grave. He stands beneath the pouring rain, wearing the black suit. That's right, Spider-Man has come back to life.
He immediately returns home to Mary Jane, and the two embrace each other. While reading the newspaper, Peter discovers that during the past 2 weeks, someone wearing a black Spider-Man suit has been terrorizing the city, and he instantly realizes that it could only have been Kraven. Spider-Man heads to Kraven's mansion alone, quickly defeating his servants and wild animals along the way. Eventually, he comes face to face with Kraven, who is still wearing the black Spider-Man suit. Peter unleashes all of his anger through a devastating punch. Kraven doesn't dodge it. He takes the punch directly to the face and simply laughs with satisfaction. Then he leads Peter downstairs into the basement, where Vermin is curled up inside a steel cage. Kraven proudly shows off his greatest achievement, mocking Spider-Man and challenging him to defeat Vermin. Peter calmly replies that Spider-Man never fights for entertainment, but Kraven doesn't care. He presses a button, opens the cage, and provokes Vermin into attacking Spider-Man.
Spider-Man and Vermin clash once again. Peter quickly overpowers him and knocks him to the ground. Still consumed by everything that has happened, Peter begins throwing heavy punches at Vermin, letting all of his anger pour out. But just before it's too late, he suddenly stops. Deep down, he knows the real Spider-Man would never allow himself to seriously harm another person. That single moment of hesitation gives Vermin the chance to tackle Peter to the floor. Kraven simply watches, allowing Vermin to disappear back into the darkness. After spending 2 weeks buried underground, Peter's body is still weak, and he lies exhausted on the floor after the short battle. Kraven helps Spider-Man back onto his feet with genuine respect. At last, he understands the truth. Even though he accomplished things Spider-Man never could, he could never become the person Spider-Man truly is. After witnessing Peter's compassion with his own eyes, Kraven realizes that he is nothing more than a man, never the Spider. He thanks Spider-Man, wishes him good luck, and lets him leave. Peter is shocked by Kraven's words and doesn't know whether to believe him. Kraven calmly assures him that he always keeps his promises, and this time, he promises that Kraven the Hunter will never hunt again. Peter leaves the mansion, telling him they'll meet again someday.
Kraven stands alone inside his enormous mansion while the rain continues pouring outside. After spending so many years searching for honor all over the world, this is the first time in his life that he truly feels at peace, and perhaps the first time he has ever known what happiness feels like. He gazes one last time at the only photograph he has with his father and mother, illuminated by the soft glow of a candle, as cigarette smoke slowly fills the room. A deafening clap of thunder echoes through the house, and then everything falls silent. A silence that will last forever, inside the home of the greatest hunter who ever lived.
Peter makes his way back into the city's sewers. The darkness and suffocating tunnels remind him of the coffin he had escaped not long ago.
Fear slowly begins to creep back into his mind, but this time, he refuses to run from it. He has to find Vermin. Without warning, Vermin drags Spider-Man beneath the water. Peter fights his way back to the surface again and again, just like he fought his way out of his own grave. After a fierce struggle, Spider-Man finally traps Vermin against a wall with his webbing. He calmly explains everything that has happened and promises that he has no intention of hurting him. Terrified, Vermin bolts toward the surface. The bright sunlight and the noise of the traffic leave him completely disoriented as a speeding truck races straight toward him. Vermin closes his eyes and accepts his fate. A few seconds later, he opens them, only to realize that Spider-Man has already saved him and brought him safely to the police station. Afterward, Spider-Man asks Mr. Fantastic to cure Vermin and restore him to his human form, proving once and for all that the real Spider-Man is nothing like the imposter who pretended to be him.
Spider-Man swings across the city beneath a beautiful sunny sky. He notices that the Daily Bugle has published Kraven's final confession on its front page. Peter returns home to Mary Jane, and the two embrace each other, finally able to breathe again after 2 long weeks filled with tragedy. And that's everything that happened in Kraven's Last Hunt, the legendary story that redefined Peter Parker during the darkest moments of his life, and was later recognized by Miguel O'Hara as one of the canon events every Spider-Man must go through. What do you think about this incredible story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Spider-Man stories.
After so many times saying it, thank you seemed soft.